Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Tara Arnold, and tonight I'm going to consciously channel Ascended Master Saint Germain. I just asked him if he could bring in some information that might be helpful for some of our viewers today, and I didn't really ask a specific question. I just put it out there for him to pick questions that maybe people are going through something and they've been asking the universe some specific questions. So I'll see what shows up. I'm just going to explain to you whatever he's showing me, and I won't be going into trance, which means I won't have my eyes shut. I'll just consciously channel. Okay, so here we go. Thanks for joining us today, and I'll get started. Okay, so the first thing that I'm seeing that Saint Germain's bringing in is he's showing me that some of us have addictions that we're not quite aware of. And what he means by this is he's showing me that some of us have addictions to punishment, or addictions to being rejected, or addictions to being disappointed, and we are setting ourselves up for failure. He's showing me it's like we're manipulating ourselves. And how are we manipulating ourselves? So he's showing me, like, for example, with receiving. So if you're not feeling worthy of receiving, you might create a punishment every time something good happens to you, or something that you consider good happening to you, or something that you enjoy if you go do something fun. For me, like, I love channeling, and he's showing me that that's why I've created like all injuries to my mouth. I've had like things happening with my mouth, with my teeth, with my gums. It's like I love channeling and I love working with the Ascended Masters, but from past lifetimes and my childhood with religion, it's like this program running that he's calling it like an addiction to being punished if you're living your truth. So if some of you are finding that you go to do something and that you enjoy, or that you love, or that brings you happiness or luxury, and you're finding that it's always like having a bump in the road, or always getting beat up for it, or always getting put down or rejected, or you're always getting in trouble somehow, or it's just never working out, just check to see if you're addicted to like the punishment, or addicted to the rejection, or addicted to the disappointment. Like, what program is your ego running? So he's like, for me, the example he brought in was about my mouth. So it's like every time I go to the orthodontist, I end up with like an injury, or something doesn't work out, or like it's just always complications. So it's always this thing where I believe I have to punish myself, and therefore I create a punishment. So what he's showing me, it's like wherever we're vibrating out, that projects in front of us, as many of you know, and then you project the energy out, and then it reflects back to you. So if you go to an amusement park and take your inner child, and you're going to have fun, and you've taken the day off work, and you're a workaholic, and you love to work, but you haven't played in a while, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go to Disneyland, and I'm gonna play, I'm gonna have fun, and you go and you end up with an injury, or the lineups are too long, like nothing's in synchronicity. It's like, this isn't working. Do you deserve pleasure? Are you saying that you're not allowed to have pleasure? Like, it's because what he's showing me, it's like every time I go to have fun, and he's saying this is somebody specific, it's like every time I go to have fun, the universe blocks me from it, or the universe destroys it, or it just doesn't work out, or everything gets shattered. On my way there, I get in a car accident, or the car breaks down, or I'm just not allowed to have fun. And so therefore a lot of people stop planning things, or they stop going out, because they're like, well, every time I do, then I get shattered. Or if you are a person that you're looking for a partner, and you start dating, and every time you have a date, it's what he's showing me, it's like the person maybe doesn't show up for the date, and you get stood up, and you're like, see, I proved it. I knew that was going to happen. I just knew that was going to happen. It's like the addiction to being rejected. And then you can prove that it's working. Like, I know that this is true in my reality, because I'm showing you that I get stood up, and then you go on another date and this time, you know, the person's rude to you and you're like, see, I knew I'd never be able to find somebody. It's like you're always proving to yourself that you can never receive. So where is your ego addicted? He's showing me several different areas that we have addictions to this punishment. So he's bringing in rules, and he says, where do rules come from? Like, rules are man-made, and a lot of us are following everybody else's rules. But your source energy, and you are the creator of your reality. Everything in front of you is a projection of where you're vibrating at, and it's reflecting back to you. So many of us are saying, I take responsibility that I create everything in my life and it's for my highest good, and I know that I created it for my highest good, whether it appears to be something that is painful or something that is delightful. We still are taking responsibility that we created both the dark and light, and then we have the power to change it. But why are we creating this rules for ourselves on planet Earth? Because many of them are from other people's rule book, and we're taking them on as our own. Why aren't we creating our own rules? So it's like creating new rules for yourself. Like, we don't have to follow all of these rules that other people give us. Like, go to family holidays, you have to go every Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving dinner, Easter, Valentine's. Like, you're always having to show up for somebody else's rule, because maybe your parents set the rule that, you know, on these holidays this is what we do and this is tradition, and you follow that, and then you get led by everyone else's rules, and yet you're the co-creator of your reality. So what rules are you following and doing that you don't want to be doing? And see where you can change that in your reality. Like, are there rules at work, at school, like out with your friends? Like, you know, what rules are you following that you're only following them because the family told you to or your friends told you to? Where are your new rules that can create a very delicious life? Where are the rules that you're going to set for yourself? Because you're an infinite being. You're not a human. And all the rules come from being human. So technically, there are no rules anywhere except for the ones that we create in third dimension ego reality. So it's like, oh, could I tweak those rules a little bit so that more abundance comes to me? Could I change my reality by creating new rules for me? What rules do I want to create in my reality? And then when I create these new rules, I'm going to command that they show up. I'm going to expect them to show up. I'm going to create them to show up, because you're the creator. If you don't have something, it's because you haven't created it. So you can have everything you want in your reality, but you have to be the one to create it. So Saint Germain's saying, you give yourself permission to have something. Because some people are telling you, you can't have that because it's a rule that you can't have that. But you don't need any validation outside yourself. You don't need anybody's permission outside of yourself. You make your rule. You give yourself permission. So anything you desire, have you given it to yourself? Are you giving yourself permission to receive it? So anything you want in life, Saint Germain's saying, have you given yourself permission to receive that? Make sure you're giving yourself permission to receive, because when you give yourself permission to receive and you create it in your reality, you have it. But a lot of us are going around, he's saying, we're going around saying, well, I want this, but I don't have it. Well, give it to yourself. You know, what do you want? And give that to yourself. Well, I want more days off work. Then rearrange the schedule and give that to yourself. Either get a new job or go talk to your boss and see if you can, you know, maybe do a few extra hours on another day and take a full day off. Like, changing the schedule time to work around what would work for you in your reality. You know, there's a third way, a fourth way, a fifth way, a sixth way of doing everything. And a lot of us are seeing it in two different ways. Like, I can have this or I can have this, and that's it. So it's like, well, what's a third way, fourth way, fifth way, sixth way that I can obtain what I'm desiring right now? How can I make this happen and work in my reality? Because once you give yourself something, that's proof that you're worthy of having it. So some of you that aren't feeling worthy of having something, give it to yourself. And then show yourself, I am worthy of receiving this. I want a new dress. Go out and buy a new dress and show yourself what you're worth. And then that's proof for yourself. You don't need validation from somebody else to receive. You don't need permission from somebody else. This is your rules. This is your reality. You're the co-creator of your reality with the universe. It's your dance. It's your play. It's your show. You're the main character. And so what do you want to create? And how many rules are you following of other people's that you don't even realize? There's so many rules in families and school systems and work systems and educational systems, and there's like rules everywhere. Like everywhere we go, there's rules. And so it's changing it and seeing how you can create your own reality, your own rules, and give yourself more. Like, he says you can't ask for too much. You can never ask for too much because the universe is infinite. It's infinite abundance. You know, who are you without this body? Like, if you were a spirit floating around without a human body, there would be no rules. You know, all our roads, he's saying all the roads lead to death. So you can't take the wrong road. We're all headed to the same place. We're all going to go back to our spiritual being. We're all infinite. So you can't make that wrong choice. He's saying some of you are scared to give yourself things because it might be a wrong choice, or to take risks because it might be a wrong choice. But all our roads lead to the same place. At the end of the life, when we leave this physical world, there's many, many people, he's showing me, that say, I wish that I would have tried that, or I wish I would have taken that risk. And here I am at the end of my life and I missed out on it. So it's time for us to create some new rules in our reality and create what we would like. And just observing those addictions that he was talking about, like, where are you addicted to punishment? Like, what areas in your life? Like, is it every time I go home to visit, you know, everybody in my family's mean to me? So it's like, but when you go to your friend's house, everybody's really nice. So it's like, well, why am I creating it there, but I'm not creating it here? You know, are you creating it there because you feel that you were the black sheep in the family and that you didn't fit in and that you were always a disappointment to your parents and that your siblings were better than you? Like, what is it that is in the belief system that is creating you to have this addiction to rejection and maybe disappointment every time you go home? Well, where could I change that? How could I change that? So just asking the universe, well, how can I change that? Show me more. So instead of focusing on how embarrassed you are that you're the black sheep of the family, focus instead on your greatness, that you stand out, that you don't fit in, that you're making changes in the world, that you're unique. Like, focus in on the greatness within yourself. And then when you focus in on that and you go home, everyone at home will begin to see the greatness within yourself. Stop seeking validation from your parents, from your family, from anybody in your life. And just start focusing in on the good things about being a black sheep in the family, or the amazing things about it. So it's like, where am I creating this addiction to being punished, rejection, disappointed all the time, proving that to myself, and allowing others to manipulate me, but also manipulating myself, or manipulating others, because he's showing me that there's some people that set their spouse up for failure, or set their children up for failure, so they can prove, like, see, I knew that I would get disappointed. I knew my children were going to mess up. See, I proved it. I knew it. I knew it. I just knew it. Creating this chaos in our reality is just because our ego is addicted to disappointment, to rejection, to punishment. And I'm sure there's many other addictions, but he's just showing me that those ones. So that's all he's bringing in today. And he's kind of pulling back now. And he's just showing me to have more empathy for oneself, more compassion for oneself. You know, on your journey, you've been so compassionate towards everyone else. And it's really having compassion for yourself is going to change a lot in your reality. Because once you start having compassion for yourself, then that's going to reflect back to you as well. So compassion for yourself, just observe over the next few weeks. He's saying, like, observe how my ego is addicted to punishment of some sort. Like, where is it that I go to have fun and it just never works out? It's just always me banging my head against the wall, or me having a difficult time, or being rejected, or being disappointed. Like, where am I addicted to always having that outcome? And then you're going to start to observe. It's like, oh, okay, every time, you know, I go to get my hair cut and I get there and I'm so excited about my new haircut, and it never turns out. Well, do you feel like you deserve a new haircut? You know, are you worthy of receiving that new haircut? So it's like, oh, okay, it's a pattern. Every single time I've gotten my hair cut, I've gone to several hairdressers and it just never turns out. I don't know what it is. It's not my hair. You know, why can't these people do their job? Why are they always messing up my hair? They can't get it right. Well, why are you always creating it? You know, can you not receive? So, oh, okay, I'm going to change it to that every time I get a haircut, it's perfect. And everyone treats me amazing when I go to the hairdressers, and everyone's kind. And my hair always looks glamorous and gorgeous, and I always feel really good about it. And I always get the perfect haircut. Just changing it and just telling your ego, we don't have to be addicted to feeling unworthy of receiving an amazing haircut. And then the ego will just kind of let go. So the ego, during the ascension process, the ego death, it doesn't die, it lets go. So we just let go of the attachment to the ego, because you still need the ego to make decisions, but the ego will float by. You just don't attach to it. So on your way to the hairdresser, if you're one of the people with the hairdresser example, and you're going there, just really being louder than the ego, like bringing in those thoughts of just abundance for yourself around getting your hair cut, and just make it a really positive, happy thing, and just watch the ego float by. Don't attach to it. Don't let it come in and tell you that you're going to get another bad haircut. Just do not let it in, and you will see different results. So have fun with it. Thanks for joining us this weekend, and we will see you next time.